We didn't vote for this, though, people. I sure as hell didn't. We voted for him to do better, to fix our economy. We voted for cheaper gas, cheaper food, cheaper insurance. We got none of that. None of that. As a matter of fact, it's higher. It's way higher. And what do we got to say to this idiot to get him to understand we're hurting out here?
When former Trump supporters say they regret voting for him and are stupid, but all I hear is that they drew the line at $5 gas and not racism, rape, or pedophilia. And I'll do you one even sadder. It's not that they drew the line at $5 gas, they drew the line at personal effect. That's the thing to remember about Trump supporters, especially people who are now starting to be like, oh no, I regret voting for him. I'm a former Trump supporter. They were okay with terrible things happening to everybody else but them. They did not care about anything else and the horrifying things that Trump openly said he was planning to do because they genuinely believed that it wouldn't happen to them. Just like that white woman whose husband is an immigrant who proudly voted for Trump and then got on here and was crying for multiple videos because her husband got deported. Just like the farmers who voted for Trump, who are now coming on here saying that they're very, very close to bankruptcy because of the tariffs that Donald Trump has implemented. It's not that they regret voting for Trump. They just genuinely believe that all of the terrible things that they knew would happen wouldn't happen to them. And because of that, they were completely okay to watch their neighbors suffer.
This is not what we voted for, you guys. This is not it. Doctors should not be afraid to do their job. And that is the case here in Iowa. It's not that they don't want to help us. It's that they are afraid to do their job and save our lives. Politics and religion have no place in healthcare. They have no place on my body, on my...
Imagine choosing to actively ignore people for years, ever since the discussion of the overturning of Roe v. Wade even came into existence and people were sounding the alarm and saying, y'all don't understand what you're voting for here. If you do this, you're going to cost women their lives. Called liars, gaslighters, fearmongers, told we didn't know what we were talking about, telling us that, oh, well, don't worry, medically necessary procedures are still going to be available to people. We were the ones that put on our listening ears to hear the doctors say, when this happens and there's ambiguity in the law and we're not sure how to treat our patients, and not only will our medical license be in jeopardy, but us as individuals, because in the case of places like Texas, where the Attorney General is actually trying to arrest doctors for giving life-saving health care, that's the problem. And we've been saying it for years now. Have you not seen anybody else talking about it? Do you feel like you are the very first person to go through this experience? Or is it because now that it's affecting you, now you understand what the fuck the rest of us were saying?
Trump voters cannot tell us that this is not what they voted for. This is exactly what they voted for. For years, millions of Americans, they want that certain policies could have consequences on higher cost, healthcare, and even changes in jobs. But many dismiss those warnings because they believe the impact would fall on someone else. So let's have a look. Please like and have the video, right? Let's get into it.
It's financially as well as emotionally. It takes a toll.
Vincent, you voted for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
He thought the Trump administration was going to focus solely on deporting criminals. It seems immigration officials, he says, are just trying to meet quotas now. 6 Nicaraguan men who on May 27th were detained along US 1 in Sugarloaf Key on their way to a job. Their immigration attorney says it should not have happened because 5 of the 6 have their paperwork in order with pending asylum cases. Vincent Scardina is the owner of the roofing company where they worked. He's owned it 37 years.
You become their friends, just not an employer, but a friend. And you see what happens to their family. It's quite a shock.
Given his support for the president, we asked what he would tell the commander-in-chief if he had a chance.
What happened here? This situation is just blatantly not at all what they said it was.
You know I love a good FAFO moment, and this one could land in the top 10. A Venezuelan immigrant and his Trump-supporting wife decided to spend their honeymoon at Donald Trump's Doral Resort in Florida. They had hoped to be able to meet the president. Instead, he ended up in ICE detention for 3 months. According to reports, he had a pending asylum case, no criminal record, and he was in the immigration system. He had an encounter with security at the resort, and it was brought to their attention. The family says they've spent tens of thousands of dollars now on legal fees and bonds trying to get him released. However, this is the part that's making the internet do a double take. His wife says she still supports Trump. If you vote for massive deportations without due process and billions of dollars in taxpayer funds going to ICE, don't act surprised when they show up in your driveway. Or, I guess in this case, your honeymoon suite.
He voted for Donald Trump. She supported Donald Trump, and now she sits in an ICE detainment center. This is the breaking news story of Camilla and Bradley. She is an immigrant from Peru. He happens to be a legal U.S. citizen. They got married. They've been married for 2 years. They are working on her paperwork for her to become a legal permanent resident. She works on a W-2. Okay, so she's going through all the proper channels to become a citizen here. And she's still got, or I guess she's not deported, she's detained awaiting deportation. So he didn't know this was going to happen to him. Do you, as the viewer, a liberal viewer, did you know it was going to happen to him? We can have a whole fucking Dora moment here, because that's how incompetent these people seem to be. You said we were fear-mongering, that it would never happen. Now that it has come knocking at your door, literally, you're sitting there and regretting your vote. You stated you knew it was going to go down, but you didn't know it was going to go down like this. We all knew. You ignored it. FAFO. You guys both supported Donald Trump. I got no sympathy here.
Do you remember when Trump called all Mexicans rapists and murderers and criminals? Do you remember when he said all of them are that way? All of them that come across the border? And then we all were shocked when we saw so many Hispanic, Latinos, and people of different ethnicities voting for Donald Trump after hearing something like that. Well, I'm about to show you a guy who just got pulled over because he was racially profiled. Yet he voted for Donald Trump, and now he's having this aha moment that Trump sees all of them the same, and now he's regretting his vote. Watch.
Police car behind me put the lights on, so I stepped on the side, right, to let him pass through, but it didn't happen. So he just parked in front of my car, the other one parked behind me, and they just got out of the car with the guns in the hands and say, turn off the car, give me the keys, open the window. And at this point, they didn't ask me for any ID.
Because you're being racially profiled.
The officer, if I can give him the ID, but he said that just keep my hands up, not moving. After that, he told me to get out of the car, and then he put the handcuffs on me. And then he went to me and said, how did I get into this country? And if I was waiting for court or if I have any case. And he looked at his other partner like, you know, smiling, like saying, can you believe this guy? At this point, I was with handcuffs sitting on the sidewalk. And then he took my ID and saw that it was a real ID. The other guy said, take the handcuffs off. Take the handcuffs off. I was Trump supporter. I voted for Trump last elections, but because I thought it was going to be the things, you know, like be pointless, like just go against criminals, not every illegal Hispanic looking like that they will assume we are illegals. That's what they're doing now. They're just following Hispanic people looking like, because they didn't ask me for anything.
There's one thing that all Trump supporters have in common. They all think the horrible things that Trump said he was going to do would never touch them, would never happen to them. So they didn't care. They wanted to happen to somebody else. They didn't think it would happen to themselves. Surprise, surprise. All my love.
This is Florida State Senator Ileana Garcia. She's also the co-founder of Latinas for Trump. She posted this in response to a statement from Congresswoman Salazar in which she's talking about immigration actions in Florida, such as arrests at immigration courts. You can see here the co-founder of Latinas for Trump says, I stand with Congresswoman Salazar. She also goes on to say, quote, I want to put myself on record. This is not what we voted for. I have always supported Trump through thick and thin. However, this is unacceptable and inhumane.
I did not want to reshare this video. The reason I'm saying that is because we're also focused on the president's detriment. We're not seeing the real thing that is coming or that is going to be happening that will be so shocking and devastating to our country. Because what is coming for America, we are ill prepared for it. We're not ready for it. I'm no longer blaming all of this on Trump. No longer will I do that. Because the only people that should be blamed are the people that put him in office. You know who you are. You're the ones that are going around now saying, Oh, that's not what I voted for. That is what you voted for. You're going to tell me you didn't know you were voting for a convicted felon? He is a felon. He is a convicted felon. And somewhere you found it in your heart, okay, to vote for that? Oh, I see. But now that it's affecting you and your family, oh, now that all your friends and families are being deported, now you're beginning to see that you are no different from me. He sees you just like he sees me, and he does not care about you. So what you really should be doing is apologizing to all your family and friends that have been deported and that are being picked up day by day. You should be apologizing to them, because that's what you voted for. You gave him permission to do it because you thought somehow this wasn't going to touch you. I can't even fathom or say what could have been going through your mind that would allow you to go into a voting booth and hit yes for a convicted felon. The things that he was convicted of, and you know it's true. As long as his policies are affecting the people that you hate, then you're fine with it. But now you see his policies are affecting you too. And now you're not so fine with it. Judgment is on the people for voting for evil. You did this. He didn't do it. You did this. You unleashed a beast, and you gave him permission to do every single thing that he is doing right now. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be apologizing to the American people for what is happening. You who voted for him.
I think Trump voters, they thought that Trump policies was only meant for the people they didn't like, but they forgot that policies spread through the entire economy and affect everybody. When people warned them about Trump's policies, they thought that people were exaggerating, They thought they would be protected from the outcomes. But policies do not ask who you voted for, They do not check your political party before affecting you. So when they tell us that this is not what they voted for, these are the consequences of their actions, and that this is a lesson about responsibility. They should have read and understood the consequences of their choices, because a vote is not an expression of hate, anger, or even racism. A vote is a direction of the country, So before casting a vote, think about the suffering of other people. Don't just think about yourself, Don't be selfish to only not care about someone else, because it could be your family members, it could be your co-worker, it could be your neighbor, Because a policy that hurt someone else today could become a problem for someone different tomorrow. Don't celebrate when another group suffers, because the consequences may not arrive immediately, but they eventually arrive. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.